Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us. Is everybody ready? Everybody? Okay, good. Well, as you all know, I'm here to give an update on the deputy-involved shooting from yesterday, namely an update on how the deputies are doing. So let me start out by go ahead and giving the identifiers on the two deputies. Deputy Nathan Segala, he's been with the agency since 2012, and he's been on patrol since 2021. He was actually, and I'll give you more details later, but Deputy Segala was actually shot through the hand yesterday. He was the primary responding deputy yesterday. Deputy Nicholas Zini, he has been with the department, with the agency since 2023, and he's been on patrol since 2024, so a little over a year and a half that he's been on patrol. Deputy Zini was the one shot in the hip yesterday, and so I'll give you updates on both of them. He was the what we would call a cover deputy, or the secondary deputy arriving on scene. From what we're able to gather at this point, and obviously this information is subject to change, let me go ahead and give you the information on the suspect as well. This is going to be our suspect, Jose Arley Fernandez Solano, 38 years of age. My understanding, he's got previous charges for assault, bodily injury, family, and injury to a child. My understanding is that Mr. Fernandez Solano is a Costa Rican national, and of course now obviously is deceased as a result of the shooting yesterday, but I will give you further details on him as well. So let me back up to the report, to the deputies slide, and then I'll give you information. So what we were able to gather is that yesterday, as I mentioned to you yesterday, we received a call about 8:30 a.m. The victim had called BCSO reporting that her ex-boyfriend, the suspect, had entered her home without permission through an open door. There had been some threats ongoing between him making threats on her and her children. Yesterday, the information that we had is that he was armed with a rifle and a pistol and threatened to kill himself or kill responding deputies if law enforcement was called. Thankfully, yesterday, this victim was able to conceal herself up the street. Her and her children were not in harm's way, and she was able to make that call. When deputies made contact with the suspect, it was Deputy Segala that was able to make primary contact with him through a door that was partially cracked. Now, they were not able to see at that time the suspect, both of his hands, and so something prompted the deputies to then push their way and push the suspect back into the room. Soon thereafter, you could hear see a struggle on the body camera, and the suspect produces what we believe to be a handgun, a stolen handgun, and fires what we believe to be one shot. That one shot, we believe at this point, went through Deputy Segala's hand, clean through, and then went into Deputy Zini's hip and exited his buttock. So one round struck both deputies is what we believe at this point. They were able to get him down on the ground, but there was several shots fired on behalf of both deputies. At this point, we believe each deputy may have fired about 3 rounds. The suspect was shot at least 3 times that we know of, possibly 4, and he was pronounced deceased there on the scene. This gunfight, I can tell you, having seen it and having seen many like it over the years, it's pretty indicative of law enforcement gunfights, not what many people would see on the TV shows, the cop TV shows, a running gun battle, taking span over a half mile. This is pretty indicative. Most gunfights, police gunfights, happen within about a 10-foot range, and most of them are over within 2 to 3 seconds. And that's exactly, if I said 3 seconds on this one, that would be considered a very long time. From the very first time, from the very first shot in this instance to the second to the last shot, I'm thinking a span of about 3 seconds in total, and all of this happened. When the third deputy arrived on scene, got to tell you, she did an excellent job. Along with these two, they did an awesome job communicating what they needed. The third deputy on scene did an excellent job, just in the calmest voice you'd ever hear. Getting on the radio, letting dispatch know that she had an officer down, at least one officer down, because at that time, I don't think they both knew they'd been hit. Rendering aid with one hand, first aid on Zini on one hand, while Segala was trying to put on his own tourniquet, and she was letting responding deputies know that they had a suspect down. He was handcuffed after the fact, and that she was in the process of rendering aid. Once they were able to get the scene secured, these deputies were, of course, taken by EMS to University Health Hospital, where at present, well, Zini was released last night. Thankfully, he's home and recuperating. Sigala, later today, I'm being told, matter of fact, it might be right this moment, will be undergoing surgery for some significant injuries to his hand. And he's expected, I'm hoping that's still the case, he's expecting to be released later today after that surgery on his hand takes place. In accordance with our procedures, they'll be placed on administrative leave for some time. Once it's determined by Dr. Naus, our staff psychologist, that they are ready to come back, they will come back to limited duty, to administrative duty for some time after that, until such time as the investigation reaches a certain point. Let me reiterate, at this point, I believe these deputies did their job well. They did it honorably, and I don't see how there's anything that anybody could have done any differently on their part. I'm very, very proud of how they reacted to this situation and how they handled it, and thankfully that they're both still alive and able to tell about it to this point. The suspect in the case, I will be honest with you, there's a lot of information on this. What we know on him is that he is, again, a Costa Rican national that has been deported at least one time. He's got various arrests. At this residence, going back to early 2024, January 2024, we've got about 22 different calls for service just at this residence alone. He's been arrested numerous times for domestic violence related type charges. And unfortunately, some of those cases have been dismissed. The latest case, so as of yesterday, he did have 2 felony warrants in association with the latest case that happened in October. There was a domestic violence related type case that happened in October, and he had 2 active warrants for that. There have been attempts made to try to place him into custody since then, but unfortunately we were not able to find him until yesterday when they were able to make contact with him, and we know how that situation worked out. I can't go too much into detail on how many arrests and when he was deported and how he came back. Some of those we don't know, but again, I could spend, based upon the number of records that I have in front of me right now, we could spend the better part of this afternoon just going line by line on this. And at this point, I just think it's too much information to try to get out there. We'll get that information out as soon as we're able to do so. But suffice it to say, this gentleman does have what we consider to be an extensive criminal history. And quite frankly, he's not somebody that even should have been in this country committing crimes or otherwise. And so, now we've got this victim and her children that are now, trying to put their lives to get back together. And of course, we've got 2 of our own heroes that are now having to deal with their injuries and to see what the rest of their career looks like. Well, we're hopeful that they both make a full recovery and are able to get back to work as soon as they'd like to. We know that they've got a little bit of recovery time to go for both of them. Esta tarde voy a dar más información tocante a 2 oficiales que fueron baleados ayer en un incidente que pasó en el norte del condado. Deputy Nathan Sigala tiene casi 13 años en el departamento. Ha estado en la patrulla desde el 2021. Deputy Nicholas Zini tiene aproximadamente 1 año y medio como oficial de patrulla, 2 años en la agencia. Se aparenta que ayer ellos respondieron a esa llamada a aproximadamente las 8:30 de la mañana. Se aparenta que la víctima sufrió amenazas del sospechoso, que él estaba armado y que le iba a hacer daños a ella y a sus niños. Ella se salió de la casa, nos habló a nosotros, pero él también le había amenazado que iba a hacerles algo a los policías que llegaran. Ya cuando los 2 oficiales se enfrentaron con el sospechoso, se aparenta que él sacó una pistola, él los baleó a los 2 oficiales con una bala. Se aparenta que la bala le pasó por la mano de Sigala y le pegó en la cadera a Zini. Los 2 oficiales también lograron dispararle hacia el sospechoso. Él fue baleado 3 o 4 veces y él falleció ahí en la escena de los hechos. Hay mucha información tocante otros arrestos. Back it up a little bit, Rob. Hay mucha información tocante otros arrestos con el sospechoso y también ha sido deportado en otros tiempos, pero obviamente él sigue aquí. Hay otros arrestos. Ayer él tenía 2 órdenes por su arresto por un incidente que pasó en octubre, también en esa casa. Nosotros hemos recibido aproximadamente 22 llamadas por servicio en esa casa desde el 2024. Son muchas llamadas. Entonces no puedo dar mucho detalle en cuántos arrestos, pero sí sé que son varios y sí sé que en algún tiempo sí lo deportamos el gobierno federal ellos lo deportaron de los Estados Unidos, pero él de alguna manera regresó. El sospechoso es José Arley Fernández Solano, es residente de Costa Rica. Any questions for me?
Habías dicho de que fue todo extremadamente bien rápido, que no sabían en un momento que salían.
Sí, mira, la mayoría de los tiroteos involucrando los policías no es como se ve en los shows dramáticos de televisión, sino que la mayoría de estos tiroteos pasan entre 6 a 10 pies y la mayoría de los tiroteos acaban en unos 2-3 segundos a lo máximo. Eso es lo que pasó en este caso. El oficial, uno de los oficiales estaba ahí arriba del sospechoso cuando pasó. El otro estaba separado por aproximadamente 6 o 8 pies de distancia cuando pasó esto. Cuando menos 7 tiros que pasaron en no más que 3 segundos en total. Y pasó todo esto, pero sí les quiero dar al público que sí vamos a dar el video públicamente en unos cuantos días, pero van a ver que todo pasó bien pronto y bien cerca.
Y estabas diciendo de que cuando llegó el tercer oficial de ustedes, que...
Sí, la tercera oficial que llegó era una oficial mujer. Entre los 3 hicieron buen trabajo. Los 2 oficiales, obviamente por la adrenalina, ellos ni sabían, se parece que ni sabían que fueron baleados. Uno de ellos dice, pienso que fui baleado, pero no se sabe realmente. Ya cuando la tercer oficial fue llegando, ella pudo averiguar, le ayudó a Zini quitarse la ropa y ya de allí ellos los 2 averiguaron que él sí sufrió una herida a la cadera. El otro oficial, mientras ese tiempo, se aparenta que él notó que fue baleado en la mano. Él intentó de dar primeros auxilios él solo, pero entre ella y ellos 2 lograron darse primeros auxilios a los 2.
¿El sospechoso les dijo algo a los oficiales de que les iba a disparar o porque
No, cuando el primer oficial llegó a hablar con él, estaban hablando en español y nomás estaban hablando de la señora, dónde estaba la señora. Pero él no les dio amenazas, no les dio ninguna indicación que iba a sacar una pistola, sino que nosotros pensamos que el oficial vio algo, que él vio la pistola y ya de ahí lo empujó, empezaron a forcejear y ya de ahí cuando lo tumbaron, se aparenta que ya cuando tomándolo, ya en el suelo, él sacó la pistola y le disparó. Y obviamente los oficiales estaban uno enfrente del otro y la bala pasó por uno y le entró al otro. Any other questions?
Habías dicho de que este hombre tenía una historia bien larga.
Tiene historia bien larga y él tiene historia de detenciones y deportaciones también. Por eso es importante poder decir que, mira, este asunto de la frontera es algo que todavía ya tenemos cuántos presidentes que han hecho promesas de enderezar el asunto de la frontera y todavía no se arregla. Entonces, obviamente para nosotros sabemos que la mayoría de los inmigrantes que vienen para acá solamente vienen para buscar mejor vida, no les quieren hacer daños a ninguna persona, pero también sabemos que hay personas como este sospechoso. Entonces, es importante recordarles al público que hay todavía para qué enderezar la situación esta de la frontera. No nomás se toma de deportar a todos, se trata de deportar los que deberían ser deportados y los que quieren venir acá para trabajar, poner un sistema que los deja hacer eso y ese mismo sistema que previene tragedias como lo que pasó ayer.
Estamos hablando de un caso de violencia doméstica una vez más, porque ya había visto varias veces que él iba y la policía iba. ¿Qué le dice a esas familias que pasan por esto y que, como él, que sigue regresando, que sigue haciendo y no se pueden salir de esa situación?
Mira, nosotros ya que, como usted sabe, nosotros tenemos varios años de estar diciendo que al fin de cada año decimos, mira, muchos de los homicidios que nosotros hemos manejado son homicidios relacionados a la violencia doméstica. Les recuerdo otra vez al público que este delito no es algo que se va a acabar, no es algo que se quita, no es algo pues se le quito los cargos, ya no va a pasar, me dijo que ya no va a pasar. Las víctimas, aunque no quisiéramos echarle la culpa a las víctimas, nunca, sí sabemos que en este caso, por ejemplo, en abril arrestamos a este sospechoso, pero se aparenta que la víctima en ese caso, esta misma víctima, no cooperó con nosotros y el caso ya se lo quitaron. En octubre queríamos arrestarlo otra vez por otros cargos y después de esa vez hay información en este caso que aunque nosotros intentamos arrestarlo otra vez, ella sabía dónde estaba y no nos dijo. Entonces, mira, no sé ahorita si hay intento por nosotros ponerle cargos a esta señora o no. Ahorita es muy temprano para decir eso. Ni queremos asustar a las víctimas que las vayamos a arrestar a ellas tampoco, o ellos, porque hombres también pueden ser víctimas. Pero les recordamos al público que es importante cuando alguien empiece un caso de violencia doméstica, es importante seguir ese caso, no quitar los cargos tan pronto porque se pueda, porque sabemos que estos sospechosos, la mayoría, van a seguir haciendo lo mismo hasta que el sistema los pare.
Estaba diciendo que esto pasó súper rápido, ¿piensas que el entrenamiento que les dieron posiblemente les salvó la vida?
Oh, no, obviamente el entrenamiento de estos oficiales les salvó la vida a ellos dos y posiblemente a otros. Sí es tragedia cuando una persona pierda su vida. Nosotros preferimos que este hombre todavía viviera, pero también lo que tuvo que pasar en este caso, que fue con los oficiales, tenían que hacer lo que ellos hicieron para salvarles su vida propia a ellos. Entonces yo estoy de acuerdo con eso. Su entrenamiento de ellos obviamente les ayudó. Sus herramientas que nosotros les damos para poder administrar los primeros auxilios sí les ayudó. Entonces yo le doy las gracias a Dios que estaba con esos oficiales ese día. Any other questions?
Yes. Can you tell how old were the children that were they inside or outside the house when all this was happening?
They were both under 10. I can tell you they're both under 10. They were outside the house when all of this happened. My understanding is that the mom, at some point, I think she got them out of the way before she even called 911. I believe she called us from up the street from a car. So I'm thankful that she was able to get them out of harm's way. Because, I mean, obviously this could have been played out a totally different scenario had she not done a great job of getting those kiddos out of the house before we got there.
And do you know anything as far as the motive as to why he had gone to the house that night? Was it related to their relationship? And he was mentioning as a strange boyfriend, is that right?
Oh, big time. I think there were some threats made that he was coming over to harm her and the children and burn the house down. I can tell you there's another call from December 14th where similar threats were made. And on that night, that's what, a week ago? Yeah. Our deputies made an effort to contact him there at that residence, and then at another residence that we ultimately believe that he was living in not too far from there. There was an attempt made to capture him then. We used bulletproof shields or bullet resistant shields in that instance to try to find him. So we did what we could to try to find this guy and get him out of there. Unfortunately, on December 14th, they were not able to find him. Yesterday, we were able to find him, and we saw what happened.
You mentioned there was
The kids are 10 and 8.
10 and 8. Okay, thank you, appreciate that. You mentioned too that so one bullet hit both the one deputy's hand and another deputy in the hip. Can you tell us more about that gun? Was that what caliber?
Yes, it's a 40 S&W firearm, and what we know about that firearm is it was reported stolen in 2022 from a vehicle at the San Antonio Zoo. Apparently some tourists were visiting from Houston, and they left a firearm in a vehicle, which we always urge people to not do. And this vehicle, the vehicle was burglarized. The firearm was stolen. Now, from what we're able to gather, we don't believe that this suspect was even in the country at that time. So how he came to be in possession of this weapon that was stolen in 2022, we don't know. We may never know. But again, we use this as an opportunity to remind the public that, look, don't leave your guns in cars because they could be used in some sort of unspeakable tragedy, like what happened yesterday. We had 2 first responders shot and almost killed.
¿En la casa encontraron más armas de fuego, drogas o armas?
Había otra arma en el carro, un carro de él, pero esa no era robada, era un rifle.
And how long were you looking for him? Should you mention that?
Well, on this latest go round, we were looking for him since October. In October was when the last incident happened with them that prompted family violence related charges, and we've made attempts to look for him. As I mentioned last week, there was a very similar to what happened yesterday, happened about a week ago. We were not able to find him then. So we've been looking for him since then. But again, there's indicators here that she may have known where he was and that he had those warrants active. So again, I am not saying that we're filing charges on her at this point, but also let's put responsibilities where they belong. If somebody knows where a wanted fugitive is, it's incumbent upon them to let us know. Or it is possible that charges may be faced at some point by someone harboring a dangerous criminal. Thank you all so much.